Rabies is a virus that is transmitted through animal bites. It is mostly transmitted through mammals.
Well, I know that rabies is a deadly virus and it's transmissible through the bite of mammalian animals that have already been afflicted by the disease.
I think rabies is a disease that is found in humans after being bit by a dog, and in particular I only know that it's transmitted after being bit by a dog. I know it's a disease. I do not know much, but I know that it happens when you get bitten by an animal which is affected by rabies.
So I think rabies is it's a viral infection that usually occurs in dogs, and it alters their behavior in a manner that they become aggressive. So it's a virus that, according to my deductions, it deteriorates the brain. So I guess, yeah.
Rabies is a disease which is caused by a bite of an animal who have been infected with the rabies virus. Mostly these are dogs, but can be cats, bats, raccoons, and foxes. Rabies patients, they usually present with a history of bite and fever, irritability, anxiety, depression, drooling of saliva, and laryngeal spasm.
I know rabies is a viral disease and it is transmitted through animals which also have the disease. Some examples are like dogs.
No, I don't think so. Not anyone in my immediate family or friends, no.
No, I'm not aware of anyone who's been bitten. No.
I personally don't know anyone who's been bitten, but I've heard tales since a child that usually of how it's about rabid dogs and how it's transmitted by rabid dogs.
When I lived in Pakistan, I heard from a family friend that they got bitten by a dog who had rabies, and then they had to get injections for it. But personally, in my immediate family, I do not have heard of anyone having rabies.
Very often, as there are lots of rabid animals on the streets.
Well, I think in my country in general, I have heard of it a few times, especially when I started recently keeping pets. So then I did some research in the topic, and then the cases of rabies, they started coming on my social media homepages and all of that. So yeah, pretty often in that period, but I think it was just because the algorithm knew that I would be interested in such news. In general, like in daily life, I don't think I receive news of that very often.
I think in the past few months I've just seen like 1 or 2 posts on Instagram which are saying that a child or a person was bit, otherwise not very common. Not very often. I've not really much heard about it in our country, more on like a level where when I'm watching a movie and they tell that rabies or something.
I haven't really heard about cases.
I have not seen any case of rabies in my hospital so far.
We do not hear of rabies cases at all because it has been extinct in here since the last 100 years.
Yes, as soon as you come into contact with it, you should run as far away as possible and contact someone who is in authority.
In general, yes. In the same way that you get away from any stray dog that might be chasing you, you run, you seek higher ground, you seek protection from someone who might be better armed. You may use a stick or something to ward it off. But I do know that rabid animals tend to be more aggressive than regular strays, so I'm not really sure how that will work out in a practical situation since I've yet to experience it.
The knowledge that I have is that we should run away from them and just stay away from places that you are aware, stray animals are found there. No.
I haven't really encountered a rabid dog or animal, but if I were to, I would try to evade them as if a zombie is attacking me and I know I need to get away from it. Because if I get bitten, I'm gonna be a zombie.
Rabid animal has some specific features. The infected animal looks very furious, anxious, and tongue protruding out with drooling of the saliva. If someone sees such an animal around, he or she should stay away from such an infected dog as much as possible.
No, because we do not have in here we do not learn about such diseases which have been extinct. So personally, I do not know how to get away from a rabid animal.
Take them to the hospital as soon as possible.
I think you should encourage them and take them to the hospital immediately and get professional help instead of treating it at home and using, medicinal like herbal methods.
I guess you would go to a doctor, but I don't know what the doctor will tell you.
When any patient presents with a bite, the wound should be cleansed with soap and water and seek urgent medical advice for post-exposure prophylaxis.
From the stories I've heard, the first thing you should do is go to a doctor and they give you injections for you to be safe from the virus. Yeah.